Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Our Ketogenic Life, and we're happy to have you here because today we're going to talk about 5 steps to start your day. And the reason I wanted to bring this podcast to you is because a lot of our clients right now, they are knowing what to do, which may be just like you, but getting started is sometimes a struggle. We all struggle in different areas, and sometimes knowing what to do and doing it is two totally different things. So we're going to talk about some steps that you can take, simple steps to get started. It won't take you very long to do, and hopefully, if you follow these steps, then the rest of your day is going to be much more productive. So. As you know, if you've listened to our podcast in the past few weeks, we are getting ready to transition into more of a holistic, functional approach as far as your health. We're going to start addressing different things, and hopefully that's evident by our topics lately. And just like the topic that we're going to talk about today, it's going to tie in to doing a ketogenic diet if that's appropriate for you. But it's also going to tie in for anybody wanting to make a change. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because we can have the information, but if we don't apply that information, it really doesn't do us any good. So our new podcast, we're going to brand it Kevin Davis Health, and we have a new website, kevindavishealth.com, and that's in the process of being built right now. And if you're listening to this now, or especially in the future, you can visit that site and be able to get more information about what we do and who we are. But today, let's talk about 5 steps to getting your day started, and that's going to change the rest of your day. So the reason I say 5 steps in the morning is for a couple different reasons. Is one, if we can tackle the morning, if we can conquer some things in the morning, if we can have some wins in the morning, that's going to hopefully be able to encourage us to make the changes throughout the day. If we're able to get started on the right foot, if we're able to do these small things and get small victories, then later on during the day, the things that we want to do, that we should do, that sometimes we struggle with, maybe we can overcome them. And we're going to talk about some discipline and talk about some stuff as far as what it takes to make these changes. But the first thing I want to talk about as far as making changes in the morning is you have to start the night before. I think when you go to bed, you have to already decide in your mind, these are the things that I'm going to do first thing in the morning. So many times, if we don't have that decision already made, the alarm clock can go off. We can hit it again and hit it again and hit it again, and then it's too late. We have to get to work. We have to get to school. So I think the most important thing that we have to do to begin the process is by preparation. We want to prepare to succeed, and if we're going to succeed, we have to prepare. So the night before, we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do simply to get started. But the night before, you're going to have to decide to get these things already done in the morning. When I go to bed at nighttime, I'm thinking about the things I need to do the next day. And, a lot of times it's working out first thing in the morning. So in my mind, when I go to bed, what I'm thinking about is, what kind of routine am I going to do the next morning? I've already decided I'm getting up. That's not a decision. It's already been decided. And the only thing is, what am I going to do? So, hopefully you can get to that point where you're able to already decide. It's not, that you're going to get up. The decision is, what are you going to be doing? So the thing that really it takes, I think, is discipline. Now, discipline comes, it's from within. It's a discipline from what's inside of you. And sometimes that takes time. It's hard. It's hard for me. When I first started making these changes in my life several years ago, it wasn't a piece of cake. It was one of those things where I just had to decide, this is what I'm going to do. And the result is now I'm at the health that I am right now. So I'm much more healthier, much more stronger. So I'm able to get up and do these things that I need to do. but it all becomes something down deep in inside you. You kind of have to own this. You have to kind of like say, okay, this is who I am. Own who you are. If you're somebody who is not getting up in the morning, own it. Own it. Don't put an excuse on somebody else. Don't lay the blame elsewhere. You own who you are. And, if you're a Christian, you are who you are in Christ. And that's first and foremost the most important thing. But what we're talking about here is you're owning, who you are as far as your decisions that you make each and every day. With me, it had to come a time to where I owned who I am. I was somebody who didn't exercise. I was somebody who, exercised when I wanted to. But now I've owned who I am. I'm owned that I am somebody who exercises. So like when we go on vacation or we go on a trip, one of the first thing that I do is try to figure out where am I going to work out, because that's who I am. Now, a lot of times people will believe lies about things. They'll believe lies about themselves, and that's just something that you have to overcome. And the way you overcome that is by the truth. If you have the truth, it trumps any lie that you have. If you're sitting there telling me that you're not a morning person, you may not be a morning person now, but you need to rephrase that. You need to say, I'm not a morning person now, but I'm going to become a morning person. And that can be the truth, because you can become a morning person. I used to be somebody who would wake up knowing how many minutes I could sleep in so I could get to work just on time. Now, I get to work between 8 and 8:30, but I'm up at 5:45 every morning. It's just who I've become. I'm owning it. That's what I want to do. And, this didn't start overnight. It didn't start by me getting out, working out like I do for, 45 minutes to an hour every morning. It started with simple things. So if you can start some simple things, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, then you can get to the point where you can change who you become. You can own it. Be responsible for yourself. Now, a lot of people want to have like an accountability partner, and that's fine. I think having accountability partners is awesome. We have several people who I'm their accountability partner. They text me with things that they're doing, and it's not just exercise. I have people that are texting me, and I text them as well. Bible verses. So I want to become who I want to become because I want to change, and I do the same things that I'm telling you guys to do. Is own who you are. If you're telling me that you're somebody who doesn't have time to read the Bible, what else are you doing? There's time to do that. So you own who you become, and that becomes internal, becomes who you are, and then then it becomes not a question like for me, am I going to exercise or am I going to read the Bible? That's just who I am. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. And you're not going to make all these changes in a day. It's a progression. It's are you better today than you were yesterday? Have you decided that you're going to do better tomorrow than what you did today? And I know we all have setbacks. I have the same setbacks as you guys do. But what I want to encourage you is you don't have to live in those setbacks. You can keep going forward. So in my mind, I'm either going forward or I'm going backwards. There's really no standstill. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. And I'm not saying every day you're going to be taking steps forward. There's going to be days where you have these setbacks, and that's okay. But you have to overcome those setbacks and then move on to the next day. So like when we talk about these setbacks, one day you may feel like cheating. You may, and I hate to use that word, but a lot of people use it for as far as the foods that they're eating and things like that. So, when you feel like cheating or you're tired and you don't feel like exercising, one of the things that I think is important, and I do this subconsciously in my mind, is I think about, okay, I'm not going to do it today. Maybe tomorrow I'll do it. Maybe tomorrow I'll have that treat. Maybe tomorrow I'll take that rest day. So when we're trying to make these changes and that feeling of wanting to not proceed with the changes that we want to do, tell yourself, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, do the same thing. I'm not going to cheat today. I'm going to do it the next time. I'm going to do it at a certain time. Now with exercise, it's a little bit different because exercise, you do need some rest days. And I found out the hard way because I used to exercise 7 days a week, and it wasn't the best thing. So I had to get to the point where I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to have these set days where I have rest days. But the rest of the times, even if I'm tired, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do what I need to do. So if you've listened to our podcast in the past, we talked about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a hormone, and it's the hormone of more. You want more and more of it. And the thing with the exercising and other things as far as like getting your day started off right, eating the right foods, the more that you do that, the more that you enjoy the process. And I'm not saying like if you're somebody who hates to exercise, you're going to lie to yourself and say, I love to exercise. Your body won't let you do that because it knows subconsciously that you hate exercise. But if you can get to the point where you're telling yourself you love to exercise because you're going to feel better and stronger and your body's going to change, then you can start loving the process. And what happens with dopamine is the longer you do that, the better off that you're going to be as far as being able to keep that routine. If you focus just on the result, if you focus on lifting, say you want to lift, 100 pounds and you're lifting 70 pounds now. Well, when you get to that 100 pounds, that dopamine's released. But if you didn't enjoy the process, if you didn't enjoy the things that got you there, that's going to be short-lived. And it's kind of like one of those things where people go on a diet and it's a yo-yo diet. All they have is the idea of losing a certain amount of weight or getting to a certain weight, and then they get there and then they go flat. And then what happens is they regain it because they didn't change who they are on the inside. You need to change on the inside. You need to own it. And then once you do that, then the results are going to come and they're going to be able to be stick around. The last thing we want you to do is to do everything you're supposed to do for the wrong reasons. Then get to that point, then get deflated, then go back to the way you were doing it before, and then end up right back where you started from. Or a lot of people, they weigh more. So that yo-yo is what we need to get off of. We need to be able to become a different person, and that starts on being on the inside, being accountable to yourself. You own it. You make the decisions. A lot of people tell me they can't get off sugar. Well, you have to own it. You're a sugar addict. If you're a sugar addict, you need to do stuff to get off it. Just like if you were a cocaine addict and your friend was a cocaine addict, and they were asking you for advice as far as cocaine, getting off of it. You wouldn't tell them, hey, just use this every now and then and you'll be okay. No, you tell them they need to get away from it. They need to stay away from it. They need to change their circumstances, change their friends, change your settings. Same way here. If you're addicted to sugar, you have to own it. And then you have to do something about it to get to the point where you can get off of it and stay off of it. So that's the things I'm talking about here is let's do some stuff so that we can own who we are. We can become the person that we want to be, the person that God wants us to be. He doesn't want us to be somebody who's eating the foods that we shouldn't be eating and doing things to the temple of the body that we have to Christ. He wants us to be able to eat, exercise, sleep, pray, meditate, do those things for His glory. So hopefully that's helped a little bit as far as like a background, as far as the why we want to do this and some of the internal conversations that people have with themselves. But now I want to turn our attention to some steps that you can do on a daily basis so that you can make some changes so that you can become who you want to be. And the first step, and again, we're going to start with these on the night before. You're not just going to get up and then try to do these without some preparation. You want to have this the night before. So the first thing I think is when you first get up is drink some water. If you drink some water and you hydrate yourself, you're going to feel so much better. You have a lot of toxins in your body throughout the nighttime where your body's trying to detox. So if we're going to hydrate ourselves, that's going to be the very first simple step. Now, how long does it take to hydrate yourself? Not very long. If you have some water next to your bed and on a nightstand or in your bathroom, if that's where you go when the first thing when you get up in the morning, it's easy to have a bottle of water there, have a glass of water in a pitcher, and just drink some water. So these are simple little things that you can get started. If you can make these wins, it's going to help you the rest of the day. And remember, these steps are a progress. You're not going to do everything at one time. And even if you do all these 5 steps to begin with, it's not necessarily going to conquer the day, but the more you do this, the more you become disciplined in who you want to become, the better off your results are going to be. So first thing is drink some water. Second thing is you need to get out and walk, especially outside. We'll talk about sunlight here in just a second. But if you can get out and walk, that's going to be an awesome awesome way to start your day. You drank some water and you're just going to get out and go for a walk, preferably outside. Now, if you can't go outside or if it's not feasible for you to do that, do some exercises first thing in the morning. And that's going to get your day started off right. And it doesn't have to be like me going out to a weight room and working out for an hour. If you can get, after you drink some water, if you can get on the floor and just do as many push-ups as you can do and then do as many body weight squats as you can do, you're done. More than likely, that's not going to take a minute or two. If you can do a minute or two of push-ups and body weight squats, you're doing pretty good. That's a pretty good exercise. So more than likely, this is going to take less than a minute. So just getting up, getting started, drinking some water, get moving, okay? So that's the very first 2 things we're going to do is get up, get moving either by walking or by some simple exercises that you can do in your bedroom, in a hotel room. It doesn't matter where you're at. All you need is a little bit of space in the floor, and then you can get your stuff done. I think the next thing you need to do is start your day off with prayer. So we're going to get up, we're going to walk, we're going to do some drinking some water, we're going to do some body weight exercises, and then we're going to pray. So many of us at this point in time, we're always on the go, go, go. Puts us in what we call a sympathetic mode. That's a fight or flight mode, and that's your nervous system kind of like firing off. We need to be in the parasympathetic mode, and I think a great place to get started with the parasympathetic mode, which is your rest and relaxation, is by taking some time in prayer. I do that every morning, and I encourage that with my clients as well. If you're not a Christian, then take some time for meditation, where you're just doing some breathing exercises. Getting started like that is a great way to get your day started because if you're getting up and walking and then you're doing some praying, you're already getting that balance between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic mode. Fourth thing is sunlight. We did a podcast about sunlight in the past and how light affects your eyes. If you can get up, especially in my area, there's a lot of mountains, so we don't really get a lot of direct sunlight, but even in that, it does help with the light in your eyes. And some of the things it does is it helps set your circadian rhythm. So if you're having problems sleeping, for instance, if you're setting your circadian rhythm in the morning, your body's going to be more prepared to sleep at nighttime. So that's something simple to do, and you can combine that with getting outside and walking. So it's like a 2-for-1 type deal there. So, but if you can get out and get some sunlight, that's an awesome way to just start your day as well. And then finally, after you get up, you drink some water, you do some body weight exercises, you go for a walk, you spend some time in prayer, you're out in the sun, then you're ready to take a shower to get started on the day. I think another awesome way to do this, and this is pretty hard. This is the last one that we're going to talk about today, and this is a tough one for a lot of people, is end your shower with a cold shower. And what I mean by that is take a normal shower. Most people take it with warm or really hot water, and then for the last 30 seconds to a minute, if you've never done this before, if you can last 5 or 10 seconds, that's a great way to start. But if you can do that, especially with the shower running on the back of your neck or in your face area, which is really hard to do, so I usually do it hitting on my neck area. What it does is it activates mitochondria. It can actually increase the number of mitochondria that you have. And if you've listened to some of our podcasts in the past, when you have more mitochondria, you have more energy because the mitochondria are inside all your cells in your body, and it produces ATP, which is your unit of energy that we measure energy in your body. So if you can get up in your morning routine with a cold shower, you're going to have more energy. You're also going to activate what they call brown fat, and they think that helps with burning of fat. So it does some different things as well too, as far as getting you started. So it's very something simple you can do. So I'm not asking people to do what I do in the morning. What I am asking is just start doing some of these simple little things, that you can do to get your day started. And then once you start having these wins, you can build upon these wins. James Clear has a great book called Atomic Habits. When I'm talking about walking, for instance, he talks about putting your shoes next to your bed so that when you get up, the shoes are already there, your clothes are laid out, and you can just get up and go for a walk. So when he talks also in other chapters on his book, he talks about stacking these little habits on top of each other. So if you can start stacking these habits in the morning to get your day started, then you can you can continue stacking habits throughout the daytime so that you can get the changes that you want to do. So when I talk about 5 simple steps to get your morning started, these are very, very simple. But remember, some of the things we talked about in the beginning is you have to have the discipline to do this. You have to prepare the night before. You have to own who you are, good or bad. You have to own it, and you have to make some changes if you need to, or keep doing what you need to do if you're doing what you want to do. And if you do these things over time, and I'm talking about weeks and months and years, you're going to become a different person. And I guarantee you, if you keep stacking these good habits one on top of another, you're going to get the results that you want to get, and you're going to be able to keep these results because you're changing who you are on the inside. So hopefully that's helped a little bit. I would love to have some feedback from you guys as far as this type of podcast. Does this really help? Is this really what you want to hear from this podcast, or is it all just about vitamins and sleep and what to eat, what not to eat, what kind of exercise? Because the reason I want to do this podcast today is because I've had a lot of clients who I've had to kind of go back to the basics and do some of these things with them so that they can start the process of getting the results that they want to get. So let's turn our attention to the catechisms. Today is called "What is Sanctification?" Sanctification, it is God making sinners holy in heart and conduct. It's becoming more like Christ. Now, we know we're never going to become like Christ. We know that that's unattainable while we're here on earth. We cannot be perfect like Jesus was. But he can sanctify us so that we're becoming more like him. And when we get to heaven, then we'll be without sin. But while we're here on earth, we still sin. You and I and everybody else listening or not listening to this has sinned. And that's why we continue to pray for forgiveness and some of the things that come in our life that we don't want to happen, that we regret. We still have God. We have Jesus at the right hand of the Father interceding for us on a daily basis, and we so desperately need that. So that's it for today. Remember, our podcast is getting ready to change. Our book is out. You can check the link in the show notes if you're interested in the book. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. But we would love to hear feedback from you. So remember to like this, leave comments, share it, and we appreciate you guys listening, and we want to serve you the best that we can. Remember, be fit and be faithful, guys.